Teofimo Lopez could not stop a jab. He could not stop a jab. And it's not his fault. He was the victim. He was the prey. He fell victim to bad coaching on the part of his father and his team. Shakur was beating him with one punch for the most part, a jab and distance management. And not one time did Teo get a real instruction on how to get around the jab. So unless Teo is a natural, like somebody who has natural high boxing IQ like myself, he's not going to just make the adjustment. That's why you need a good team, a good plan. You need real objectives that the fighter could go back to when they get in trouble, when they get to a certain point and they feeling overwhelmed, when they feeling as if things aren't going their way, they don't know what to do. You go back to the objectives and the drills and the strategies that y'all worked on all training camp. I believe a guy like Teofimo Lopez has been getting by off athleticism and, his dad just supporting him. But he doesn't have, real boxing gurus in his corner. So let's break down this jab and how you could get around the jab. In fact, we're going to use Shakur Stevenson to show you some of the easy ways that you could stop a jab if you're as athletic as Teo. The best way and the main way to stop a jab is what? Your feet. Your feet is the best defense that you have. They literally displace the entire body. The problem is most people don't have the stamina or the coordination in their feet. They don't have the footwork to be able to rely on their feet. So they create different styles and they shun the people who are gifted with a great pair of feet like Shakur. But the fact of the matter is still this. You see, when Teo tried to jab upstairs, tried to jab downstairs. All Shakur did was jump back. Now, Teo is supposed to counter that as well. Like, if you're just going to be jumping back, then we know what? If we put some combination behind that jab, he's going to jump back some more. Then he's going to be on the ropes. It was times where Teo got Shakur on the ropes. You know what Shakur did? He grabbed him. But if Teo was really like that, he would take a step back, boom, hard counter, and stuff like that adds up. But let's continue. Now, as you can see here, a lot of times Teo was getting countered because he was lunging. He wasn't fighting behind his shoulder. He was lunging with his head out. Like, this stuff is elementary. This is low boxing IQ stuff. This is why Shakur said Ryan Garcia is like sea level, right? If you're a fighter that's going to lunge with your head out, guess what? I got some bad news for you. Your ass is going to get hit every time. So I'm going to use myself for an example. My last fight was in November, bro. I fought somebody that they're trying to market as a good fighter. He was cheeks. I ain't going to lie, bro. This boxing is real funny, but every time he lunged with his head out, what did I do? I made him pay, because you're never supposed to really allow your head to come in front of your shoulder, in front of your knee. Now, top-level fighters, when they want to take risks, they do it. Hagler will do it. But it's just like, that's not supposed to be your go-to offense. Teo was initiating his offense by getting in front of his lead shoulder and just lunging in with speed and power. And you know what's the closest thing to counter that every time? A jab. Your lead hand is the closest, most effective weapon to your opponent at all times. So I'm going to use myself for example. I'm fighting this dude right here. His name is Scrappy Vargas, right? He lunges in with the rear hand, and his head is just a little bit in front of his knee, but his head is ducked parallel to the ground. He's looking down. He can't even see me. This is called bad positioning. So what do? I take a small step back, pull back just a little bit towards I'm still in range to counter, and I come back with the 1, 2, and the 3. He actually has nice little body movements. Like, even though he couldn't see, he knew intrinsically that he had to, roll. He had to roll because he ducked. But since he can't see me, he can't see them throwing combinations. As soon as he gets to the far end of his duck, he gets caught with a hook. This is why you shouldn't lunge, because you put yourself out of position. But of course, fighters are going to do it. Hell, I'm going to do it at times. But Teo did it as a main requisite. He did like a major part of his game plan as opposed to a secondary or supplementary part of his game plan. That's called bad coaching. No real plan, no real strategy. Teo could have performed way better with the gifts that he was given from the Lord. But you need to have somebody who has a brain power. Some fighters have their own brain, like Ali. Some fighters, they need somebody to get them the game plan, like Ken Norton. Teo is somebody who needs a real strategist in his corner in order to be competitive at the highest level. Now, my final point is this. When you have somebody like Shakur, right, I already showed you how his feet can get him out of trouble. But this is a basic parry, orthodox versus southpaw. When someone throws a jab at you, you could simply just parry him with a jab. You could throw a jab at a jab. It's called mirroring. And you don't even have to let it really throw it as a jab. You could just put it out there like a little stiff arm or like a barrier, and you will stop a jab. This is one out of 1,000 ways to stop a jab. I didn't hear Teo's coach give him any type of instructions, or his dad. Mijo, this is how you stop a jab. Come on, mijo. He talking about what happened to your power. You gonna be mad tomorrow. No, bro, you supposed to be mad tomorrow because you didn't properly prepare your son. If I was in Teo's corner and I see that Shakur has a better understanding of distance and Shakur is faster, I'm not even gonna tell Teo to parry the jab. You know what I'm gonna tell him? Every time Shakur jab at you, I want you to throw a hard right hand to his stomach every time. You're going to eat the jab. Try to move your head a little bit to the side, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to get hit. But you want to trade a hard shot, hard right hand to the stomach with the jab every single time. Every time he jabs. Boom, boom, boom. That way you're not the only one taking damage because you're not good enough to get your hit off the line for whatever reason. I haven't prepared you. You don't know how to parry and counter a jab, right? That would have been the start of making a real game plan. That would have been the start. And just something as simple as that would have had Shakur actually in there feeling some punches from time to time, actually getting his wind tested as opposed to sweeping Teo. But this is just, I don't know, it is what it is. Once again, I'm not just a talker. In my last fight, I was doing the same little jab parry. It's nothing. Somebody throws a jab from the opposite stance, you could literally put your hand out and stop them. In fact, right here, I just got finished landing a combination and I wanted to exit exchange range. You know what I did? I put my jab out and I held his rear hand to make sure that while I'm exiting, you can't hit me. That's something I learned watching Pernell Whitaker. And right here is when I did the thing that Shakur did, where you simply just put that lead hand out while they're jabbing you and deflect it. Basic boxing tactics. Teo had nobody in his corner telling him basic boxing tactics, which leads me to believe he's been going off of raw athleticism. Athleticism ain't going to get it done at no level, at the highest level. It's not just about athleticism. You need skill, fundamentals, timing, IQ, strategy. Boxing is a thinking man's game. I feel bad for Teo. If he can get with the right coach, and there's not really that many great coaches out there, to be honest with you, so he's probably not going to do that. But if he could still give Shakur a run for his money, especially if he can get some wins, rebuild his confidence, and come with a real game plan to try to shake up that master boxer that is Shakur Stevenson. And this is what happens when you underestimate your opponent. When you don't call a spade a spade. Shakur Stevenson is a master boxer. You must approach him like that. If you look at him and try to act like he's not what he is, you're not going to come with a real game plan. You're taking his skills for granted, and you're taking yourself for granted as well. So when you don't call a spade, when you're lying to yourself, lying about how great your opponent is, it causes you not to fully prepare for what you're about to involve yourself in. But y'all let me know what y'all think.